Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Kraus.
How is it already halfway through the month?
I don't know. I had things to do. What happened?
Time. Time is marching constantly. It's also an illusion that's not real, but you know.
It feels very tangible to me.
It's catching up to us. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
May you please slow down. Yes.
What's not slowing down is our relentless pursuit of answering all these questions, and we've got plenty of patronizing, I don't know.
Yes, these questions are very patronizing. Yes, they are. No, most of them are not, luckily.
If you want to jump to the head of the line and be horribly butchered with my inability to broadcast, just like all these fine folks, head over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member.
Yes. Courtesy of the patronizing patronage from folks over at Patreon, we have a lot of questions. And there's also Ko-fi and other methods as well. But that doesn't matter. We're getting off track. We need to get to some questions. So let's get to some questions. Here's one starting us off from Steph Cube. For Ian, what is your opinion on Shiro Miyakawa's stories in Sonic games before 2010? Would you like to write a new story together with him for a future Sonic game?
I mean, he kind of set the gold standard, Sonic 06 aside, but Sonic 06 had lots of problems. I want to lay that at his feet.
The thing is that Sonic 06 was unfinished, story included.
Mm-hmm,
so,
but like SA2, Heroes, Secret Rings, Zero Gravity, but Black Knight. I mean, Black Knight is my favorite of all the Sonic stories and execution, and just so good.
Yes.
I have no idea how good his English is. My Japanese is not existent, so there might be a bit of a language barrier. I don't know how well we would be able to collaborate, but I would be opposed to it. I just don't know if he's still, around to do Sonic game stuff.
Yeah, he hasn't been on the franchise, involved with the franchise in quite a while, so.
And whatever he's doing, I hope he's enjoying it and doing well.
Yep. All right. Let's get into this next one from Ideria. Hi, Ian and Kyle. We've heard what some of your favorite covers from Archie Sonic, and that made me curious. Every artist in the IDW run have given us amazing covers, but what are some of your favorites so far?
Oh, man.
I'm going to say just pretty much anyone by Natalie Fordrain.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
I mean, it's that's a cop-out answer, sort of, but I mean, there's a reason.
The most recent one they unveiled for Sonic number 50, where it's Surge punching the mirror, and it's her and Sonic's faces.
Oh, yeah, that one
shown in the shattered glass. That is art. I don't care what you say. That is exquisite.
That is a very evocative image, yes.
I don't know if it's the standard cover, but the one Adam did that's got kind of Akira vibes over it. With Sonic up on the pedestal and Surge looking up at him. And I especially love that cover because of how antagonistic Sonic looks. Just the staging and everything, it almost makes you feel like you're rooting for Surge because she really is the hero in her own story, even though she's awful. And it's just, I love how much depth you get out of just the very simple composition. Also, the cover he did for, I don't remember which issue, the End of Metal Virus, where it's like the whole ensemble cast in Sonic's silhouette.
Oh, yeah. That one is really cool.
And the 2-issue triptych by Tracy Yardley at the end, where you've got everyone partying on the one cover, and then Sonic's getting sent back via the Soul Emeralds with the Super Omega mecha in the background. There's so many others. This, like, very early on, I think it was Evan Stanley's cover of Sonic in Silver, highlighted in the reflection of Whisper's mask, and Tyson's initial 4-part triptych. Just like, I don't know, man. There are so many freaking good covers.
Yeah. The Tangle and Whisper covers, the ones by Evan is the one. Was that Evan with number 4 where they're underwater?
I don't remember.
I think whatever one it was, but like that whole lineup of covers was really good. Of her covers, because they're all like interconnected, sort of. I believe they are a big. You put them all together and it just forms one big image with all of them. So yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good ones. Just a ton of them, like the Big Metal Virus one from John Gray. Did you mention that one? I don't remember.
No, but I mean, we're almost 50 issues in, plus 2 spin-offs, and every one of those at least had 3 variants.
There's so many
more, so I can't keep track of them all.
There's so many variants. And of course John Gray comes in and he's like, here's every character ever created, ever, stuffed all onto one cover. Enjoy. Good luck with this one, colorists and inkers and everybody else involved. But yeah, it's glorious madness. I do. I don't know, man. What is with this book and amazing covers? Like, I don't know if there's a dud amongst them, really. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. All those imposter syndrome covers, freaking sweet. Like the Sonic 2 one, that was Adam, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's Adam with Starline and Kitten Surge instead of Eggman, Sonic, and Tails. Yes. Very good. I like. Alrighty. Well, there's so many good ones. That's all I can say. Here's a question from Madeline Bluestar7. Are you both familiar with the How to Train Your Dragon franchise? If you are, do you have any favorite characters and moments from it? For a crossover where the cast of Sonic went to Burke and met the cast of How to Train Your Dragon, what interactions would you guys write? Well, I wouldn't write any. I'm not a comic writer. But Ian
I'm passingly familiar with it. I've seen the movies, at least, not so much the TV show.
I have never seen any of them at all.
They're cute. The first one especially. I ended up seeing the second and third one back to back, and it didn't sit well with me that the second one's big message was, despite our differences, humans and dragons can live together. We can find a common ground. We can find unity. You have to work towards it, but different species can come together. And then the third movie was, no, we totally can't do that. We're completely different. Where you should go back to where you belong. There's a reason why we're separate people. And it's like, tonal dissonance a little.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they had to go to wrap up the franchise, I guess, but it just kind of didn't sit well with me. But overall, it's cute. Hiccup's growth as an outsider to a hero is nice, and the supporting cast is fun, and the designs are all neat. As for the Sonic crew interacting with them, I don't know, I could easily see Hiccup and Tails bonding very easily, since they're both kind of mechanics and gearheads and whatnot. Astrid and Amy, I could see getting along real easy. The rest of the crew, I don't know, they're kind of there for comedic backup, so maybe vibing with the Chaotix, that could be kind of fun. I mean, a race between Toothless and Sonic would be fun to see. Sonic gets enough speed so he can cross water between all the islands. But beyond that, I don't know. I'd have to actually sit down and really think about how that would mesh. That doesn't quite come to me as easily as some other stuff.
Alrighty. Here's a question from Pizza Person. Will you use Eggman Nega in the IDW comics? People keep asking this. You made it sound like you won't because you dislike him. He isn't a good guy, but he is delightfully crazy. I'd love to see him again to shake up space and time. You also said he was dead, but he looked alive and well at the Tokyo Olympics.
The Olympic Games are not canon at all, even remotely.
Why not? Everything is canon.
I'm not going to use him anytime soon because I'm assuming he's dead. He looks like he was set up to die to me, and until SEGA says otherwise, that's what I'm working under. I don't see a lot of difference between him and OG Eggman. There is differences, I know, but they're so minute that I would rather invest my time energy in a more entertaining and different villain than slightly more polite but also slightly more unhinged Eggman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I am surprised by the desire to see him, and I'm kind of wondering if most of it is just contrarian. Not calling you out, pizza person. I'm just saying I feel like the desire that we're getting on the show is people saying, well, why not? And it's like, because we don't really need to. He's not that great of a character. And the minute you try to deny any facet of the Sonic fandom, it does not react well. So we'll see how it goes. Who knows? Maybe Sega does have plans for him, in which case I'm going to have to eat my words, assuming I am writing on the comic at that point. Because after Sonic 50, I'm not doing much for a while.
Uh-oh. Anyway.
Well, not uh-oh. It's other people.
Oh.
I'm not the guy anymore.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to find someone else to complain about and blame it on.
Oh, please, Kyle. It will always be me.
That's actually, yeah, you're right. It will be forever at this point.
I will be dead and in the ground, and they will still be complaining.
You have been blamed. Even when you were the guy, you were getting blamed for stuff you didn't do, stuff you didn't write.
Well, after I canceled Sonic Underground, personally.
Of course you did when you were 15? And you were totally...
Such is my power.
You were totally influencing Sonic in that way back at that point in your life. Of course.
Enough negativity. Let's get back to the Q&A.
This is all a joke, by the way, in case anybody's wondering if it's real. It's all a joke. Yeah. Also, everyone knows Tokyo exists outside of space and time. So, of course, the Tokyo Olympics were not canon. Right? That's how that works.
I don't know. I've never been.
Well, it's because it's like Knothole. It's like 3 minutes into the future or whatever. It was like 2 hours, wasn't it? Whatever. It's near enough that it functionally does not matter. It's just Silver Age nonsense for no reason. Anyway, here's a question from Maradri. Dear Bumbleking Man, I recall that on your episode with Deco Kami that you said IDW was written with the idea of a shonen manga in mind. Was the intent for this to appeal to more Japanese readers, or was it more of a personal preference? And what it is about this frame that you feel really fits the world of Sonic?
It was in part to break me of my habit of these long decompressed epics that kind of one story arc bleeding into the other. I wanted something that was more concise and easily contained so that when you referenced it, or if you wanted to jump on somewhere, you knew where to go and you didn't have to slog through 20, 50 issues to get through it. You look at some of the more popular manga out there and you can say, okay, there's this saga. You know that this story arc is contained in here. And it would run from here to here, and that's it. It's easy, it's concise. If you want to jump in there, you got it. If not, no worries. And that was kind of what my thinking was. And I feel like Sonic and Crew are kind of geared for that format. You've got your big, bombastic, clearly defined characters with their special abilities. Like, you could transplant them into Dragon Ball Z or My Hero Academia or any of these other action manga, and they would fit pretty easily, truth be told. So I feel like that would be a reasonable format for it. But that was my personal approach, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's the way to go. Right.
And then of course there's all the Dragon Ball in early manga and anime influence on Sonic just from the very beginning. So it fits. It works with the character. So
mostly I was aiming for something that's a little faster paced, a little less decompressed, and something that's easier to pick up and consume.
Yes.
Something that's easier to access.
Cool. All right, here's a question from AlexGS. If you could choose any musical persons to appear on an official Sonic soundtrack, who are a few you would be interested in?
Kyle, you're more the music guy. Do you have any ideas?
Well, I know a lot of remixers who've done remixes of Sonic stuff who I think would be excellent to do music for the games. There's a guitarist known as Joshua Taipali. Some of you might know him. And he has been able to capture that Jun Senaway sort of guitar tone and the style of playing and everything. He is able to mimic that pretty spot on. It's quite impressive, actually. And some of the stuff that he's done has been like really solid and would fit in really well with the Sonic franchise as a whole. So T-Lopes would have been an obvious mention, but that already happened a while ago, so we don't need to talk about that. But T-Lopes is amazing. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many possibilities. Like, I mean, Power Man 5000 is in a Sonic game. Well, it's a Shadow game, but it's a Sonic game. Whatever. It's in the part of the Sonic franchise. It's a Sonic game. It's like, what is this? Why is Power Man freaking 5000 in a Sonic game? I don't know, man. The 2000s were weird.
I feel like my personal musical tastes, as uneducated as they are, wouldn't necessarily fit. Like, I don't know. I've been on a Too Many Zoos kick lately, and I can't imagine them composing something for a Sonic game. I have no idea how that would work. I mean, if they could make it work, I'd enjoy it, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. Yeah. Jeez. I'm trying to think, like, I don't know. I could hear Stan Bush doing a Crush 40 style anthem. That's in his wheelhouse. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. Where's Stan Bush? I want my Stan Bush Sonic soundtrack crossover. Somebody call that guy. Transformers was IDW, right? That's
yeah.
That not for much longer, but you know. Get Crush 40 on the movies. What the heck's up with that? Where was the Sonic Adventure 1 Ice Cap theme for the snowboarding scene in the second movie? What the heck, man? Where was that? Get that in there. Or at least the Sonic 3 Ice Cap theme. I need that. Here's a question from Yoshi Milkman. So since I'm on vacation, it got me thinking, what's the best beach level in any video game? Music, gameplay, story, etc. I'd say all of Mario Sunshine, but a whole game is cheating.
Well, that Mario Sunshine wasn't fun to play. Oh! I went there.
Oh, boy, you've done it now.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was okay. It was fine. Like,
yeah. It's
one of those things where it's like it's not a great mainline Mario game, but it's still a good game. like you know, even the worst mainline Mario game is like still better than a lot of other games.
I don't know, man. I'd rather go back and play 64 with the janky Switch controller.
Oh, I mean,
than frustrate myself with Sunshine again.
I mean, yes, same, but it's not that bad.
I really, really didn't like it.
Oh well. But, Aaliyah says she will smack you later.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I know that I'm the pariah on this.
Actually, well, it's pretty common. Although now I think since the same kids who were defending Sonic 06 are now getting old enough, they're also the common refrain is also changing on Sunshine. So yeah,
that's fine.
We go through stages of this. You know, it's like how the Star Wars prequels now have defenders. They didn't used to.
It's entirely their right to be wrong. But anyway, beach stages. I'm gonna say Emerald Coast at SA1. That looks comfy.
Yeah, That's a
I would
nice
like
one.
to go to Emerald Coast. I would like to stay at that resort. And I'm not even a beach guy. I'm not big on beaches. That just looks like
Same.
a nice place. Badniks aside, and very aggressive orcas. But other than that, it looks like it's a nice place.
Yeah, yeah. I like the beach level in Mario Odyssey. I'm forgetting the name of it now. The beach level, the one with the beach volleyball that was really obnoxious. Seaside Kingdom. There we go. That was just like the music was just really nice, and it has like the water looks, it's like perfectly clear and it's nice and blue. Everything it's just a very comfy level, despite everything trying to kill you. That's what I like. It's cool. So it's I think that's one of my favorites. Here's a question from Hero of Light 13. It's fine if you can't quite answer this yet, but the previews of the 3D islands in Origins seem to suggest that Little Planet is chained up to an island itself. So I have to ask, has Never Lake just been on an island this whole time? What's the island's name? Does it even have a name? Could this be North or East Side Island? And would Sonic 4's Episode 1's island be one of those two? Would 4 Episode 2 take place on the same island as Never Lake? I need answers, Ian!
Now, my understanding is, yes, Never Lake is on an island now, and that it has to be the same island from Sonic 4. I mean, keep in mind that Episode 1 and Episode 2 do take place on the same landmass. The maps are interconnected, kind of vaguely, and it's not perfectly defined. Like, it's not like it's rendered in a realistic fashion where the zone placement is, but it's all reasonably within the same area. I believe, I'd have to look at it again, but I think Sylvania Castle, the flooded castle stage in Episode 2, is right there on the cusp of Never Lake. So it should be all part of the same geography.
Should be. In theory. I don't know, man. Maybe we'll find out when the game comes out. Guess we'll see. Here's one from Death Hero 61. If by some God-given miracle you are given a project to work on Mega Man for IDW like you were on Sonic, what would you change? What would you do differently now that you don't have to factor in a crossover?
The crossovers weren't the biggest issue. It was more the very rigid 4-issue structure that we had to adhere to for the trades. I think that was the biggest thing. Yeah, the constant crossovers kind of threw off the pacing a little bit, and having to find a way to bring us back to status quo each time. All right, so yeah, they were both problems. Now, if this were the wonderful magical land where IDW picked up right where Archie left off, I'd say we jump right into the Mega Man 4 arc and pretend like there was never any hiatus and we just hit the ground running. If it was here's classic Mega Man, but you gotta start over from scratch. I think I'd put it after Mega Man 11.
Oh yeah,
to have all the characters established and just kind of forge a new path.
Yeah, you mentioned
I think we've had this. I think we've touched on this before on the show. At this point, if we had to start over, I'd kind of want to do an X book instead. It would kind of hurt to go back to classic and not be able to touch on all that we did before.
Right. Man, I would love an X book so much. But of course I would. I'm a fanboy like that. All right, here's one from Omega Watt. How likely do you think it would be for Agent Stone to appear in the IDW comics, or maybe even the games? He's quickly grown into a fan favorite, and it could be really fun to have him alongside Eggman, like Orbot and Cubot.
From my understanding, as of this recording, 0 chance. It'd be nice if that changed, but yeah, not even on the table.
Dang. I think, Paramount owns all of those, I believe. So they own the movie characters. So might be a little bit of a rights kerfuffle there. Here's one from Off. When Cream launches cheese like a projectile, why doesn't he explode like a water balloon?
Cream doesn't launch cheese, she just gives the order. He flies over his own volition and thus controls the amount of impact he delivers on the target. Clearly, duh.
Of course. Of course. You think Cream is going to just abuse cheese like that? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It would be pretty neat, though. Maybe he explodes like a water balloon and then, like, immediately reforms, you know? Just like all the water lands. He hits something, all the water lands on the ground, and then he immediately reforms, and then he jumps up and, you know, punches him in the face.
Yeah, because cheese needs to be more powerful, sure.
Well, he is a Chow. You saw what Chaos did multiple
Chaos
times.
Is special.
So is cheese.
Okay, you got me there.
Yes. And we got one last question before we take a break, and it comes to us courtesy of Professor Rye. Do you ever think about your tongue? Because you probably are now, just sitting there in your mouth, constantly tasting.
I don't like what you have done to me now, and I am going to hate you forever.
Don't. Rye, you ruined it. You ruined us. Now everyone is going to hate you. Nice. I like it. I like Rye. He's a great agent of chaos. I approve. I find him acceptable. I also find these ads acceptable, or at least YouTube did. So let's go ahead and get into it right here and take a quick break on the BumbleKast. And we've returned, and we have a question from Archfighter. Hey Ian, another Star Fox question. What's your favorite version of the Star Wolf theme? I'm personally partial to Assault with Zero in a close second.
My personal favorite is Star Fox 64. That's the gold standard. That's what most of them follow.
Yep.
I feel like it hit the right balance the first time. Like Assault's version is really pretty. It absolutely is, but it's way too slow paced. It's a leisurely ballad, and you're supposed to be dogfighting with your equals in the depths of space. It's too relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Command had a nice version with a fun little flair here and there. Brawl, Smash Brothers Brawl had a nice remix, a little more punch, a little more bass to it. I don't know what they were doing with 64 3D. That sounds awful. Like, I don't know how you ruin a sound font like that, but Smash 4 had a decent remix of it, but it was still a little slow, and it had some weird flourishes to it, and then this really awkward interlude where it goes into the Vachina battle theme, and then really stumbles its way back to the main things. Now, and Zero, I'm not super familiar with it, but does it only play when you're doing the final dogfight on Venom? Because if so, then it works. It's fine because it's very dramatic. But if it plays every time you fight Star Wolf, then it's way too over dramatic. It's like when you're fighting them normally, it would be way too much. But if it's like just for the fight, when it's just Fox against all four of them, then it's like, all right, I'll see you to the door on that one. It's like, because it is this kind of big epic end game, even though the reveal of Venom in that game makes me deliriously angry. I have too much anger towards Star Fox Zero. It's not healthy. It's no responsible adult should be this angry at a video game. So, but definitely honorable mention to Star Fox's 2 theme, which is completely different.
Yeah.
You can kind of see where the transition was made between the two, but Star Fox 2 kind of sounds like an old school RPG boss fight, and yes. I love it.
Yep.
It's got that speed. It's got the simpatico. It feels like you're in a dogfight for your life in the depths of space, like 64.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. I think all the other renditions of the 64 theme kind of overthink the composition and miss the point of it. It needs to be fast. It needs to be fun. It needs to be exciting. And when you add too much of the Spanish guitar or the like choir in the background, it's like, you don't need that. It's too much. You're not fighting, the Eldritch Gods, you're not doing any kind of deep, meaningful, spiritual battle. This is a dirty fight. This is a grunge fight. This is a gang war between two factions. Starwolf is not heroic or grand. They're just the best of the bad guys. They don't need to be elevated to something classy and esoteric. They're the nasty guys. They're the bad Star Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to keep that kind of, I don't want to say grit, but it needs to have that energy in there where it's a scrap. It's a brawl. This is not some epic fight for the fate of the universe. This is personal. This is two dudes, each with a knife and their hands taped together. You know, this is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They are literally mercenaries. Like,
yeah,
not Nintendo's weird definition of like bounty hunter mercenary types. They are actual bounty hunters mercenary types, and they've got a score to settle with Star Fox. So yeah, my personal favorite is Star Fox 2's. There's a fantastic remix of it on Overclocked Remix that is it's called Mercenarios de Lobo.
Nice.
And it is sort of the Star Fox 2 Star Wolf theme, but in the style of Assault. But it maintains a lot of the franticness and the speed, and but it sounds really, really good. So still holds up, even though it's like a 17-year-old remix at this point. Anyway, so yeah, that's a great one. But I'm with you if we're talking like the more well-known version of Star Wolf's theme. Yeah, I'm with you. The original Star Fox 64 version all the way. For sure. So, very nice. Here's a question from Sapphire Scarletta. What are your personal thoughts about cliches in regards to story writing? Do you advise on avoiding overdone plot points and arcs, or do you think it can really help to add into a story? Any general tips for someone who wants to practice writing their own stories?
Be aware of the cliches, but don't be afraid of them. I feel like right now there's so much armchair editing by folks online, and a lot of folks that are just looking to make those bad faith takes so that they feel like they're educated, has made people super wary of these tropes when honestly you can't avoid them. You know, there is so much that has been written. You're going to be retreading old ground at some point. But at the same time, you don't want it to be what you're relying on. If you're using a cliche because you can't think of a better way to approach the story, or that's just how you feel like that's how those things go, then step back and analyze it, going, why am I doing this? Why am I going through these motions? Is it because the story naturally flows that way? Is that how you get from point A to point B? In which case, okay, you're fine. That's part of the structure. If you're doing it because that's how you've always seen it done, or that's the quote right way to do it, then maybe step back and change it. Like, ask yourself, really, why is it doing this? Why are you doing it this way? And can you do it another way? Can you get from point A to point B in a different fashion, in a way that avoids the cliche and is potentially more interesting? I hate to say subvert the expectations, because that's been driven into the ground. But
that's a cliche on its own.
At this point, sure. If you're looking at it that way, it's like, would that be a clever twist, or are you just doing it for the shock and the subversion? There's no easy answer to it, and part of it is learning how you write and being able to remove yourself as the writer and look at it objectively, which is, I hate it so much. It is so freaking hard. It's not fun, but it's something you gotta do to be a better writer. So that's my really giant, sweeping, hopefully somewhat helpful rule of thumb, is if you can identify the cliche, look at how you're using it and ask yourself, why are you using it? And see if there's an alternative to it. And it may be that this works. You know, there's a reason why people fall back on it, and maybe it really does work for what you're doing. Or it could be that you're doing it because that's what you have learned, that's what you've been taught, or that's just what's comfortable. And maybe there is a less comfortable but superior way of doing it.
Sure. Or you could just go ahead and embrace it, lean hard into it, and just ride the cliches, baby.
There's that
ride
too.
them out, Just go for it. Big deal. Whatever.
All depends on what you're doing with the story.
Yep. I think cliches are not necessarily a bad thing. They're just another tool in the toolbox that you can use, You can use them as needed. You can subvert them. You can just embrace them wholeheartedly. Just, I don't know, just another thing to put to use in your writing. So you don't have to be afraid of it. You don't have to try and avoid them completely. It's sometimes it's just fun to know what's going to happen. Here's a question from X. If memory serves me right, Ian has said that the Zombot Crisis was originally planned for Archie Sonic Run. If that's true, how far did that version of the arc go in production? Did you have an idea for who was and who wasn't going to get turned?
We didn't. That's the short version. There was some very early preliminary thoughts. I think I may have handwritten some breakdowns for the first couple issues to pitch, but it was never mapped out. There was no resolution. There was no greater plan to it. It was, let's finally do this idea. And then there was no more book to do. So there's no, this is not a Lost Hedgehog's Tale thing. There's literally nothing to reveal. It's just, it didn't happen.
Well then. Here's one from Speedweed. Given how adaptable Metroids are, and given how drastically their physiology and life cycle changes to adapt to their environment, how would they adapt to Sonic's world? What would their life cycle be like?
The last Metroid in captivity lands in a Chow garden.
Oh no.
It goes to feed on the unsuspecting Chow, and the Chow sees a new friend and gives it a snuggle hug.
Oh no.
And the two interchanging energies create something new.
Oh no.
It's cute. It toddles around. It's got a nice soft green color, but it's also got 4 prongs just coming straight out of its face.
Oh no.
And this lovely little Chow just wants hugs. It wants to meet people. It wants to be friends with everyone. But with each touch, it grows a little bit stronger, a little bit different.
Like all Chow.
But with prongs coming out of the face.
It wants hugs. Specifically.
It wants
face hugs.
Yes. And you feel bad for freezing and punting these horrible little murder babies, but they're able to, you'll see one sit down and suddenly a field of flower springs around it and eggs just start appearing by itself.
Oh,
There's no way to stop them.
Oh no. This is Ian, what are you doing? You've created a nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. This is nightmare fuel.
This is horrifying, dude. Punch the ice babies.
I want to see Metroid Chow fan art.
I just punch the ice babies. I don't feel bad. Kill them all.
A little 3 nucleus emo dot floating over the head.
No.
A little chittering fanged maw for a face.
Wow. For someone who hates horror, you sure are good at it.
Oh, I don't like receiving it, but I love dishing it out.
You're a terrible person.
Oh, yeah. You're just now figuring that out.
All right, I knew that already. I, too, am a terrible person.
And that's why we have a show.
That's why we get along, I think. That's why everyone's always mad at us. Here's one from The Cartoonist. Were either of you fans of the original Adult Swim lineup? And if so, what was your favorite show and why? Is it C-Lab 2021 for creating a future slightly less insane than the one we live in? I should have asked this last year.
I remember loving Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
And
that surrealist, sometimes unnerving humor. I don't even remember the context of it now, but just Space Ghost going around in the background, cut. Or what was it? Zorak managed to sell Moltar off to a Japanese baseball team, and it just cuts to a live action shot of a baseball field, and you hear the Japanese announcer rattling something off, and then he goes, Moltar! What? I don't know, man. It was weird, but it was funny. And then, Harvey Birdman spun out of that. early Aqua Teen Hunger Force, it got, I don't know, either it got too weird or the flavor of humor just bore itself out on me. But that early stuff, that was good. That was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I remember me and my college friends just cracking up at one particular episode where Meatwad comes out and he's all indignant and, "You told me there was a carnival in the freezer, and I went in there, was nothing there but a damn freezer." And something about that, the voice and the look on his face, we had trouble breathing at that point.
So I've seen very little of any of these shows, but I know enough.
And Cowboy Bebop, obviously. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I don't know. I missed the boat on most of the Adult Swim stuff. I had friends who were really into it, and I watched it a few times with them, and it was entertaining. The Space Ghost, like the Space Ghost stuff is weird and funny, but yeah, I don't know. I just like that era of TV, especially. Just I don't know, mostly passed me by. Like I had just gotten access to cable at that point, so I was like, I don't know.
How did that one bit go?
Yeah.
Sharks and bears, nature's friends, nature's best friends. It is a forbidden love, however, because once bears and sharks come into contact, they explode.
I mean, has anybody tested that?
I mean, they had footage, man. What can I say?
Well, all right. Might as well. I still haven't even watched Cowboy Bebop. Maybe I'll do that someday. Wait.
You haven't seen Bebop?
No.
At all?
Pretty sure I mentioned this. I'm not in passing, maybe, but like I've retained nothing of it. So, I've practically never watched it. No.
Okay. Well.
Yep. I know. Everybody's freaking out in the chat. I don't know what to tell you guys. I told you I missed the boat on pretty much the whole thing.
Ali and I actually went through it not too long ago, and I'm very happy to say it held up. That's
good. So yeah, I did watch Furikuri, but that was it. I didn't watch Cowboy Bebop. I didn't watch anything else. So I don't know, man. I guess I gotta just go back to it. I'll get back to it eventually. I know it's one of those formative anime for a lot of people, so, and that it still holds up, Unless you're talking about the Netflix series, but we don't. I don't think we talk about that anymore.
And there was other stuff like, see, now I can't remember quite where the bleed over was between the early Toonami stuff and the early Adult Swim stuff, but like Outlaw Star and Tenchi Muyo, and those were formative too, but they don't hold up nearly as well as Bebop does.
And the chat is bringing up the music from Cowboy Bebop. Now, I am fairly familiar with the music. Fantastic. I've listened to that album a number of times. It's very good. Still never watched the show. So, yeah, maybe I should get on that, I mean, we've seen stuff like Akira and stuff. I don't know. Anime is like mostly a blind spot for me. So
I'm going to be that guy and say the manga of Akira was better.
I mean, you're probably right.
Now, going back and seeing just the quality of the animation, even the horrible and grotesque stuff, to understand that was done by hand without any kind of real computer assistance is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's terribly violent at times, but when you look at the craft of the animation itself, it's just astounding. It's beautiful. What's being rendered is not, but the craft behind it is. And that, I guess, is worth the watch.
I don't know. Someday I'll get to it. I'll at least watch the movie, at the very least, at some point. Let's jump on over into this question here from Alphamon or Yukon. What happened to Dulcie after New Mopotropolis was built? She just kind of vanishes from the series after that.
No, she'd found her people, so she was over there making up for lost time.
All right, here's a question from Dove. Metal Sonic was built to surpass Sonic in every physical way. Does the fact that he always loses mean he wasn't properly built? Or did Eggman actually program him to lose?
It means Sonic cannot be replicated. Metal Sonic is an amazing piece of machinery, but you cannot beat the indomitable spirit of Sonic.
Not with a machine, at least.
No, never. With nothing.
With
Sonic is unbeatable.
Maybe with a highly modified green Tenrec. Might come close.
Yeah, we'll just have to find out in Sonic number 50.
We'll see. We'll see. You might come back and it'll be Surge the Tenrec, number 51. Here's a question from Censored. I heard from you that if Lupe, modern version, had a voice, a native actress would voice her. Who do you think would fit her role best? Irene Bedard, Cree Summer, Julia Jones, Kanieto Horn, Tantu Cardinal, Devery Jacobs, Tonatson Carmelo, or Tia Carrere?
I don't know. We've said it on the show in the past. I am not very good with voice actors. I mean, Cree Summer's in everything. I know that much, but I don't know. Whoever would be best for the role.
Honestly, I'm sure probably any one of those would do a good job, but I don't know. Here's a question from John L. I'm a big fan of Silver Sonic, or Mecha Sonic if you prefer, and wondered how you see him. Does he still exist in the modern brand? He and Metal usually fight in different ways. Is it fair to say Eggman built him for a different purpose? Head of security? Or is he just a spare?
Mecha Sonic should be still on the table because he was in Sonic Adventure. Version 3's in the tube of, is it Hot Shelter?
Yeah, it's like the egg carrier or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah. You got Metal Sonic in one tube and Mecha Sonic 3 in the other one. So he should be available. In terms of usage, I think it's just a different mentality of construction. Metal Sonic is meant to be pure emulation, while Mecha Sonic is built to overpower in a more traditional brute force Eggman sort of way. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's more armored. You know, if you can't beat Sonic in his own game, you just beat him into a bloody pulp and still claim victory.
It's all that matters. He's bigger, faster, and stronger too.
Don't you do it. Nope. He is not the fifth member of the Metal Crew.
No, he's the first member. It's true.
Now, granted, Mecha 2 was faster than Mecha 1, to be sure, but you compare the way Mecha 2 moves to the way Metal Sonic is able to just zip around, and I still feel like the Mecha line is a little more clunky in comparison.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I don't like calling it Mecha Sonic, though.
Well, I'm sorry, that's the official name.
I don't like it.
Well, too bad.
I don't like a lot of things, Ian, especially about what SEGA thinks they should be doing with their franchise that they own. I don't like it. It's terrible. I prefer Silver Sonic personally, but it makes more sense. He's silver. And there was that weird point in time where like they were calling Metal Sonic Mecha Sonic, or at least somebody was somewhere. Yeah. What was that? Archie was doing that. I know that, I think. Like early Archie Metal Sonic appearances, he was being called Mecha Sonic. So the chat is asking if I need a nap. The answer is probably yes. Yes, I do. All right, here's one from the internet person. Since Shadow is basically just a Batman who kills, well, in Archie and Sonic 06, how would he approach Batman's rogues gallery if he somehow went up against them? Hopefully with a
very
gun.
High speed, and then he'd spin dash them and win.
Hopefully with a gun. Specifically an automatic machine gun with a cocking mechanism.
I mean, he homing attacks Mr. Freeze's helmet, takes up his freeze gun.
Or that.
Mows down everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Gotham is saved.
Fix that problem. Thanks, Shadow. This is why I do not have a Batman and a Sonic crossover. Because the problem would be solved. Here's one from Sonic. What are the black bats with one red eye that appear in Silent Forest? Are they real living creatures or just manifestations of Zoe's dark powers, considering he uses them to make black duplicates of himself in his second boss fight? Oh, and while we're on the subject of sets, does Zavok have the ability to grow giant and shoot fireballs naturally, or does he require the planet's energy or an outside source of powers like the Chaos Emeralds to do it?
I'd have to double check, but I would imagine they're shadow constructs like the other stuff that Zor does.
Zor.
Now, whether he can...
I just like...
Yeah, I know. It's written Zoe.
It's written Zoe, and it's always Zoe, yeah. I was like, I don't know. Anyway.
But I don't know if he can really do that without extra power. Like, all the special abilities that the Deadly Six show off, the energy beams and the caltrops and whatever, I'm pretty sure that only comes from extra power. Like, they can't do that on their own. Just like Zavok's giant form, he has to have an external bit of energy before he can do that. That's why in Metal Virus, he didn't go super big until he really tapped into the Chaos Emerald's energy. And in Lost World, it was with the planet's energy. So, yeah, with their just left to their own devices, they're, from my understanding, they're on par with Sonic and the gang in terms of physicality. And they have that electromagnetic thingy so that they can control Badniks, but they don't have any other special powers. They have to have an outside source to start doing all the crazy stuff.
Why hasn't there been a dry Zavok?
I don't think anyone wants to figure out how his skull works.
Yeah, no one can figure out how his mouth works. Nobody knows. Oh well. Somebody should. Somebody should. Here's one from Jamal S. Hi, I have a question for you. On your old collie from the Archie Sonic comic book, Mr. Ken Pender is planned to sue Paramount Pictures on Knuckles' backstory from the Sonic 2 movie. Ken Pender also said the character's father and Enerjack is a ripoff from his days with Archie Sonic comic. What's your reaction to hearing this news story on Ken Pender versus Paramount Pictures?
Number one, we were never colleagues. He departed from the book before I started. Okay, so he inked one of my stories. There was no interaction between the two of us. Two, his business is his business. I am not involved. I do not want to be involved. Whatever he chooses to do is on him.
All I can say is, good luck. Here's a question from Godzilla. And it's movie spoilers, so this is the last question, so cut it off here if you don't want spoilers for Sonic 2, the movie. With the Movieverse Shadow being put in suspended animation roughly 50 years prior to modern day, we can hypothesize that Shadow was either created in the late 60s or early 70s. So I have to ask, do you think Shadow likes the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? I can see Maria being totally into the Beatles, but I can see Shadow going with something a little more, how do we say, edgy, like the Stones. Or maybe a dive deeper into the heavy metal of Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath.
Professor Gerald, I see a door and I want to paint it black.
It's true.
That is not something I considered, and that's potentially delightful.
They're going to use Iron Man for his entrance theme, aren't they?
Oh, probably.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Maybe he's into metal. Like mainstream metal, old metal, of course, not like deep. He's not a deep cut.
Maria having Beatlemania is kind of funny, though. That's adorable.
That is funny. I like that. That is cool. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Shadow has this unfounded jealousy, anger towards Ringo.
Yeah.
What's this funny little black and red thing over here? You broke Maria's heart. Why didn't you write back to her?
I like this. Your Ringo impression. That's very funny. It's very good. I mean, it's terrible, but it's good.
It's basically Wacko Warner.
It is Wacko Warner, yes.
Attempting to do Ringo.
Yes. I gotta take this one from the chat. Shadow says, "We all live on a yellow submarine."
It's a piece of gun tech. It's a very yellow submarine. He just starts humming the tune to himself.
It's like, damn it, Maria. You got it in my head.
His first introduction to Sonic, he slams him against the wall. It's you, the blue meanie.
And then he meets Eggman the first time, and he's like,
Cuckoo-ca-choo.
Cuckoo-ca-choo. You are the Eggman. Interesting. Oh, wow. All right. That's enough questions for this week. But we had a very nice comment come in, and I wanted to shout them out because it's very nice. It's from a regular questioner and patron, Pandulce. They say, "Hello, Ian. I don't have a question today. I just wanted to say thank you for creating Dr. Starline."
Well, thank you, but also big thanks to Evan Stanley for the design.
Yes. If you don't know Pandulce, they are a really big fan of Starline. Starline has many fans. It's strange. Like, why does a guy so evil have so many fans?
Well, why does someone as evil as Dr. Eggman have such a big fan like Starline?
Oh, good point.
Before we wrap it up, we're going to give a big thank you to all the patrons and sponsors that make this show possible. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Coupland Crew 128, Dave M., Duas Diz Din, Andrew D., Off, Salute Your Cat, Jay Frost, Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Hero of Light 13, Sony, John M., Ryan D., Noni, Don B., Jib, Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Piggy Bank, Fiona M., Blue Title Gamer, Ben W., Tick Tick, Xanderoni the Painter, Final Neil, Keeper of Monsters, Jonathan D., Ian Nimrick, Solaris Stain, Axis, Daddler the Dalek, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B., The Name is X, Pedanticat, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Pentulce, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Ava Arctic, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Jennifer H., Professor Rye, Les, Cameron H., Preston M., Sapphire Scarletta, Alphamon or Yukon, Noah S., Corjiro Highwind, Chase L., Joey the Sonic Fan, Awesome Cakester, Kimiko, Radri, Callum Q, AlexGS, Just a Mountain Soul, John the Real Waluigi, Archfighter, Ty H., Owen BD, Maddie H., KJB, In Zephyr, Finest Cacophony, Nondal, and Tails, Dream Boatin, Mox, Derucival, T-Ranger, Jolene B., Shaggy Dog, Jack the Animator, Lewis J., For Sonic Fan, The Marble Gardener, Goosey Tantai, Agent Kaz, Michael Patton, Navare, Exodile, Lacey M., Unlikely Veronica, Ty Cyan, Jamal S., Neostripe, Spiral Warrior, Choco Desert, Rhythm Raccoon, Omega Watt, Pig Dan 20, Jinx, Phi, Knights Ubel, Steph Cube, Idira, Madeline Bluestar7, Pizza Person, Yoshi Milkman, Speedweed, The Cartoonist, John L., The Internet Person, Scourge Time, Chaos Sonic 1, The Might of Kabura, Meta Mode, Danny the Light, Frost the Winterline, Agent Agnes S., and Wheels 282 Hedgehog.
Wow, that is a lot of names. Also, who jacked the animator? Bring that animator back. Why are you jacking the animator?
That's going to wrap us up for this episode of the BumbleKast. We will see you Wednesday for another priority episode. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we'll see you then.
See you on Wednesday with more priority questions. We got a lot of them, so we're getting caught up. But, yeah, so be here.
BumbleKast for May 16th. How is it already halfway through the bloody month?
I don't know. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
Before we wrap it up, we're going to give a big thank you to all the patrons and sponsors that make this show possible.
No, we're not. Don't lie.
Insert list here.
Yes.